Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the perspectives and translations. If you see my SSAS cube, like I'll click on the cube and I'll get this window. Here you got the perspectives and then you got the translations. So what is meant by perspectives? Perspectives is best comparison I can give with the perspectives is nothing kind of view in SS in the T SQL. On the database side, we have a concept called view, right, where you restrict like the columns of a table. The same way here also the perspective acts the same way. You might be creating measures, you'll be creating dimensions, and whatever stuff you create on the cube, and you can limit them, like you can only say, okay, I have 10 measures, but I want to, if some user access, or I can group them, I can group 5 measures under one name and other 5 measures under a different name, or else I can say I have a single group which has sales and sales, finance, everything, all the information is stored under a single group. Then I can create one perspective for sales which will have the measures only related to sales, and I can create one more perspective which will have only measures related to finance, something like that. We'll see an example here. In the perspective, how to create is, now I'll connect the cube, new perspective. When I click the new perspective, I'll get a window. See, here is the one I am going to select the perspective. I'll say sample 1, and here sample 1, and here see, I have the order quantity, unit price, and many. I don't want to select the all. I want to select only few. I want to select only the amounts. I'll select the extend amount, I'll select the discount amount, I'll select the sales amount, tax amount, fight amount. That's it. This is the only one I will be selecting. Apart from that, I want all the dimensions. Okay, now this is my sample perspective. I am done, or else I will name it as a amount perspective. Yep, this will be my perspective. Then what I'll be doing is I'll deploy the cube. So I will be passing my video until then. Yeah, my cube has been deployed. Now what I'll be doing, I'll be connecting my cube here. I'll reconnect the cube. Now you can see here, when I reconnect the cube, I can see this is my perspective I have. Apart from that, internet sales is a one measure group you have, right? At the if you see the cube, you have the internet sales as a cube, but still you can see one more one that we created a perspective called amount, and you can see that one too. When I select the amount perspective and when I look at the measures, I can see only the measures which has the amount column in it. If I select the main cube, because since it has all the columns, I will be able to see all the columns that are there. It is nothing but the same kind of a view. But you have to remember, on the view in the SQL server, you can get data from multiple databases, multiple servers, but your perspective, you can only create the perspective on one cube. You can't combine multiple cubes here at the same time. In the previous in the date on the database, you can provide security to the view, but here perspective you can't provide. Whatever the security you have provided at the cube level, the same thing will be applicable for all. And one more thing we are going to see the perspective is with the connecting to the Excel. I'll go to the Excel, I'll go to the data. From other sources, I'll select analysis services, and now I'll select the server name. Here see, when I select the server name, I will see the cube name, and I can see the name and the type is perspective. So even you can, by Excel, when you try to connect, you can even select the perspective from here too. Now you can click next, and then you'll be able to access data only from this. And remember, perspective is kind of the same like a view. It will never store a data. It is nothing but a view built on a cube. That's it. Remember, it will never store a data. And next one is what we are going to discuss now is that is related to the translation. And this is we are done with the perspective. It's a kind of a view where we can eliminate, we can limit the usage of the measures for the users, like what we can group them, and whatever we want we can do it. Next is the translations. In the translations, Generally, as a name says, translation nothing but converting from one language to other language. Let's assume I have created the cube here now, but whenever like I want to deploy this, like I want this cube to be used by some other one, or who doesn't know English, or he is from some other country. Then here in the SQL Server, you have an option to have the language change. You can translate the language. You can give your own names. This is my column name, and this is one, and I can give my own column names. Let's assume I can add a new translation here, and I'll select the translation. Whatever you want, you can select it. I'll select some random one, Thailand, or else I'll select Telugu. Okay, done. And here what I can do is that whatever I want, I can type it. So I'll write T1, T2, T3, T4, yeah, something like that. I have given the words, done. Now what I am going to do is that, and this is the name of Telugu India, done. Now I'll deploy the cube and passing the cube until it is deployed. Now I have deployed my cube. Now you can see I have given some alternate names. So what will happen here is the one which I have given name, so that will be called by the default the name. If I not if I don't give any name, it will take the default name or the existing one as its name. Okay. Now we can see, and the cube name, now I have converted the cube name to T1, and fact internet sales measure to T2, and some of the measure groups to T3, T4, T5. Others I have left blank. That means it will take the original name. Now if I see I have deployed the cube, now I'll connect the cube here. I'm done. Now see here, this is a perspective I have selected. I'll go to the cube because the cube is the one where I have see. Now you can see the cube because I have selected the language. By default it will be US, right? By default the language will be United States, default one. So when I take the default, it is nothing but the same. If I open, I can see internet sales. That is our default means it will take the location. Based on the location, it selects by default. Now if you see, I can see the internet sales and everything. But now if I select my language here, whatever language I have created, because if you see here cube, I have given the language for Telugu. So if I select the language Telugu here, then I can see the names. So whatever the names I have given, I can see there. Yep. So now the cube name is the fact internet sales cube became T1. Now you can see measures. This became T2, and I even named some of the measures T3, T4, T5. Right now you can see them. This is nothing but the translations. But one more thing you have to remember: translations is only used to rename the. You can give an alternate name for the measures, measure name, cube name, hierarchy names, but not the data. Data can't be translated. Okay, so you have to remember that. And one more thing you have to remember between the perspective is, when I create a perspective, there is no need for me to process that because it's only a view. But when I make any changes to the cube, I have to process it. But perspective, there is no need to process it. It's only a view. It's a kind of a virtual on the existing data. You can create a virtual view on the existing data. That's it. So that's the reason there is no need you to process the cube, because already it is processed. Okay. Today we have seen the perspectives and we have seen the translations, and see you guys. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you. Bye.